Okay, hello again. It's the end of April 2019, and if I can remember how, I'm going to make a video. I actually have another three or four ideas, so you can expect a few videos over the next few days. And this one is called Don't Learn Tarot Card Meanings, although maybe it should be called, or the subtitle would be, you can waste an awful lot of time if you learn card meanings. So do this instead. And what you do is, instead of learning meanings, which can be very difficult to connect with or apply to an answer to an actual question that somebody has asked. So instead of learning a range of meanings or a list of meanings and then trying to pick the right one, which is kind of mechanical and often doesn't work, and you need to be lucky and choose the right meaning. Instead of trying to learn meanings, you develop understanding of a card. And I'm going to give you an example of how this can be done so that you can then adapt the method for your own self. Because this is the thing, when you're reading cards, you want to be yourself. You don't want to have to learn to be somebody else or to copy somebody else's style. You want to be comfortable as you, so that you're natural and you speak and you talk about what you know about. And then it works. And then you're able to give valuable readings to other people. And I'd like to give you an example of how we can develop understanding. And I have to backtrack a bit, but I'll eventually get to the point. So I like to watch music videos. I like all sorts of kind of music, classical. I really like house and deep house and dance music and rock stuff. And anyway, so when I go to YouTube, I get this list of recommended videos, and some of them are musical. And one that I watched recently was Sinead O'Connor. I was never a big fan of Sinead, but I do like Nothing Compares to You. And this was a live version. I really like live versions of songs because it's not studio and it's not sanitized. It's real, so to speak. So she did this live version of Nothing Compares to You in Chile. And it's phenomenal performance. She was quite young at the time. And it was a really good performance, and you should watch it. I'll put a link in the description. So then at a certain point, after watching this video like 50 times, because I tend to do that, if there's something I like, I watch it over and over and over again. So then there was The Emperor's New Clothes, which I already knew from a long time ago. I kind of liked that song as well. So I'm watching The Emperor's New Clothes, and there's a bit in the song where Sinead sings, "They laugh because they're untouchable, not because what I said was wrong." And that reminded me of two things. One is when Sinead in late 80s, early 90s, she was on Saturday Night Live, and she did a solo version of War by Bob Marley. And then she held up a photograph of the Pope and tore it up. And this caused great outrage everywhere. How could she do this? And what does she mean? And the whole bit. And she was banned from Saturday Night Live and banned from TV. But as she's tearing up the photograph, she says, "Fight the real enemy." And people thought she was kind of mental. But events recently proved that she was right. So she sings, "They laugh because they're untouchable, not because what I said was wrong." And then maybe a month ago, the Archbishop of Australia was sent to jail for, I think, 3 or 4 years for sexual offences against children. And he was an archbishop. And the thing is that as he was going off to jail, politicians, broadcasters, media personalities all came out, even though he'd been charged with this crime. and he didn't appeal, even though he'd been charged. These big shots or politicians came out with messages of support for George Pell in his hour of need. And it's as if, it's just what Sinead said. They laugh because they're untouchable, not because what I said was wrong. And then I thought, wait a minute, the song's called The Emperor's New Clothes. So what does this tell me about the Emperor card? So instead of learning a list of meanings for the Emperor, I've got an idea and a picture and a set of circumstances and behavior that I can relate to the Emperor card. So maybe when the Emperor card comes up, you're dealing with a person who thinks they're untouchable, or who doesn't pay much attention to critiques or criticism or objections that other people have to them and what their decision is and what they've decided to do. So you can follow that, okay, and you've got the idea. So depending on the question, if the question's about a promotion and the Emperor comes up, then maybe it's describing the interviewers, that they think they're untouchable. And so even if you, the candidate, make good reasons about or give good answers to the questions that they ask you, they're maybe not going to be that interested if it doesn't already blend with what they already believe, right? They think they're untouchable. Whereas if it's a question about a relationship with somebody else and you're represented by the Emperor, you can find yourself saying to the questioner, in the light of the song and the lyrics, you can say something like, watch out that you don't assume that the other person doesn't have much to tell you, right? Because they can have an objection, or they put forth their point of view, but you don't take them that seriously. Whereas if the Emperor is reversed, maybe then you're on the receiving end, so that with the Emperor reversed, let's say it's for the future, you are going to give your point of view and nobody's going to pay attention. Or the people who ought to pay attention are not going to pay attention. So don't be surprised if you make good objections or make good points, but people don't take you seriously. And so I'm giving some examples here, but depending on the question and depending on your personal understanding of the lyrics of the song, and it's the Emperor upright or reversed, you're going to be able to speak naturally and using your own examples. Because maybe you say, there was this time when this happened to me, that I knew that something was going to go wrong, and I tried to tell them it wasn't going to work, and nobody paid any attention to me, and it went wrong. So you could give an example from your own experience or from your own life. Oh, when the lights went out, from your own life, that will make sense based on the question that was asked. Okay. I think I'm going to suddenly stop here, only because that light went out, and I don't know what the lighting is going to look like now. So that's it for the moment. If you've emailed me recently or in the last while and I haven't replied, sorry about that. I will be replying very soon, and I appreciate your patience. Okay? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.